still set the table for two out of habit. Reach for the conversation, but I can't quite grab it. The wood of the tabletop is cold to the touch. Funny how a little space can hurt this much. The salt and the pepper are right where they belong, but the rhythm of the dinner is entirely wrong. I'm chewing on the silence, I'm drinking the dark, waiting for the shadow of a long lost spark. There's a ghost in the corner where you used to sit, and a candle that's waiting for a match to be lit. It's just a piece of furniture, fabric and pine. So why does it feel like a fault in the line? Oh, the weight of an empty chair is dragging me down. It's the loudest thing in this quiet house, in this lonely town. It's a heavy kind of nothing, a hollowed out stone, the physical proof that I'm sitting alone. I can't move it away, I can't look at the space where the light of the morning used to find your face. It's more than I can carry, more than I can bear. The suffocating gravity of the weight of an empty chair. Your jacket's still hanging on the back of the wood. I'd move it to the closet if I thought that I should, but then I'd be admitting that the seat isn't yours, and I'm not ready for the slamming of the final doors. I talk to the velvet, I talk to the air, asking the shadows why life isn't fair. The dust is the only thing moving in here, settling down on the ghost of the year. Walking on tiptoe across the kitchen floor, afraid of the vibration from the slamming of a door. We used to be diamond, we used to be steel, but now I'm terrified of everything I feel. I see the hairline fractures spreading down your chest, a map of all the secrets that we never quite confessed. One sharp word could bring the ceiling down and scatter all the glitter of this broken-hearted town. Don't breathe too heavy, don't just brittle glass hearts beating in the dark, waiting for the friction of a single tiny spark to turn us into splinters, to turn us into dust. Nothing left but jagged edges and the hollow of our trust. If I reach out to hold you, I'm afraid I'll leave a scar in the fragile little casing of whoever you are. Oh, the danger of the distance and the beauty of the smart in the shivering rhythm of these brittle glass hearts. Through the window, but the view is getting thin. I can't tell where the outside stops and where we both begin. You're transparent and freezing, a portrait made of ice. And loving you is a gamble where I've already paid the price. I'm sweeping up the pieces of the yesterdays we knew, trying not to bleed while I'm reaching out for you. Standing in the driveway with a map I can't read. The wind is pulling at me like a restless, hungry weed. The stars are all shuttered, the moon is a ghost, and I'm drifting further from the thing I love most. I used to know the way by the light in your eyes, but the sun went down and never bothered to rise. Now I'm spinning in circles on a gravelly road, underneath the weight of a heavy, heavy load. The needle is shaking, it's lost its magnetic pull. My head is empty, but my heart is too full. I'm checking the moss on the side of the trees, but I'm just a sailor on the high, lonely seas. And I'm searching for north in a world of goodbye, looking for a reason in a charcoal sky. You were the center, you were the constant thing. Now I'm just a wanderer in a broken down dream. The compass is spinning, the signal is dead. I'm following the echoes of the things that you said. Every road is a circle, every path is a lie. When I'm searching for north without you by my side. lights are flickering, dying in rows, and where the pavement ends, nobody knows. I found a torn Polaroid in the pocket of my coat, a little paper life boy to keep me afloat. But the edges are curling and the colors are thin, and I don't know where the home is supposed to begin. I'm a pilot without a radio, the bird without a wing, just a hollowed out vessel for the songs I can't sing. I'm standing on the ledge of a memory we made, watching the colors of the skyline start to fade. The air is getting thin and the wind is turning cold, like the bitter endings of the stories that we told. I thought I had my footing, I thought the ground was sure, but I'm leaning on the shadow of a love that was pure. One look at the street lights, one breath of the night, and I'm losing my grip on the ghost of the light. Gravity's a heavy hand pulling on my sleeve, whisper staring at the screen until the numbers start to blur. Thinking about the person that you definitely were. It's 3 a.m. and the silence is a physical weight. I'm hovering my thumb above the call and the date. I found a saved message from a Tuesday in June, when your voice was a comfort, a familiar tune. I pressed play just to feel the vibration of the sound, before the static dragged my spirit to the ground. The signal is searching for a tower that's down, like a traveler lost in a ghost of a town. I'm listening to the rings, counting 1, 2, and 3, but it's just the energetic heartbeat of not meant to be. And I'm living on the echoes of a phone call, watching the rise and the devastating fall of a voice that used to whisper, I'm never letting go. Now it's just the hollow of the only thing I know. I'm talking to a dial tone, I'm shouting at the air, reaching for a connection that isn't really there. It's a long distance heartache, a digital wall, lost in the echoes of a phone call. The charging cable is a snake on the floor, and I'm checking for a notification that won't come anymore. I heard a ghost ring in the middle of the hall, but it was just the wind hitting the drywall. Every hey and how are you is a shadow on the glass, watching the ghost of our conversation pass. I'm scrolling through a folder titled Sunday Drive, back when the static made us feel alive. Track number 4 was the one you'd always skip. Now I'm tasting the memory on a trembling lip. The algorithm thinks that you're still here, suggesting songs we loved throughout the year. But the recently played is a graveyard of us, turning our anthems into hollow and rust. I can't hit shuffle, I can't hear repeat. Every bass line feels like a cold defeat. I'm hovering over the delete icon now, but I can't break the promise or the unspoken vow. Now I'm just living in an abandoned playlist, full of the I love yous that no longer exist. A digital ghost of a life that we shared before you decided that you no longer cared. It's a 3-minute heartbreak in every chord, a symphony of feelings I can't afford. I'm drowning in melodies lost in the mist of these broken and abandoned playlists. I can't hit shuffle, I can't hit repeat. Every bass line feels like a cold defeat. I'm hovering over the delete icon now, but I can't break the promise or the unspoken vow. Acoustic version of the song from the bar reminds me of the night we went a little too far. Underneath the bridge with the windows rolled down. Now it's just noise in a quieted town. I see your profile picture, a grayscale blur, a reminder of the person that you definitely were. You haven't logged in since the middle of May, but your favorite bridge is still on display. The swing set is creaking in the back of the yard, where the winter hit us particularly hard. The orange stain is spreading on the garden gate, like the slow motion poison of a love left to fade. I'm touching the surface of the car we used to drive, wondering how any of these feelings stayed alive. It's a jagged kind of texture, a rough kind of gray, watching the shine of us just flake away. We were chrome and lightning, we were silver and spark. Now we're just two shadows shivering in the dark. Structural integrity is starting to fail, and the wind is whistling through a broken rail. Now we're just rust and bone, darling, rust and bone, in a house made of echoes that I have to call home. The metal is tired and the skeleton is thin. I'm trying to keep the outside from getting to the end. Every promise is oxidized, every memory is cold. A story of a fire that's grown bitter and old. We're falling to pieces, we're sinking like stone in the hollowed out valley of rust and bone. Box by the stairs, tangled in the wires of 1,000 despairs. The hinge is stuck shut and the picture is blurred, like the muffled vibration of a final word. I'm a structure of calcium and a heart made of lead, walking through the garden of the things that we said. But the iron is brittle and the joints are all dry, underneath the ceiling of a chemical sky. I'm checking the timestamp on the message you sent, reading between the lines on where the forever went. You say that you're fine, that you're just staying late, but there's a hitch in your breathing, a tilt in your gait. The coffee is bitter, the kitchen is cold, and I'm holding a secret that's starting to mold. It's a flicker in the hallway, a glitch in the light, the way you won't look at me in the middle of the night. I'm building a fortress out of maybe and why, underneath the weight of a darkening sky. Watching the fire of us flicker and go out. It's the space in the bed, it's the quiet in the car, it's the feeling of losing whoever you are. I'm reaching for the truth, but I'm catching the mist, searching for a love that no longer exists. I'm a prisoner of the questions I can't shout, drowning in the shadow of the doubt. Found a receipt in the pocket of your coat for a dinner for two and a wine-stained note. But we haven't been out since the leaves were all green, and I'm haunted by the ghost of the things I haven't seen. I'm a detective of sorrow, a hunter of pain, tracing the outlines of the blood and the rain. The more that I find, the less that I know, as I watch the silhouette of our happiness go. The sun is just a suggestion behind the blinds, a weak little light that the winter finds. I'm waking up slow to the side of the bed, where the ghost of your shoulder used to rest its head. The kettle is whistling a lonely refrain, and the window is streaked with the frozen rain. I'm checking my pulse just to see if I'm there, in the quietest part of the morning air. I used to love the way the dawn would break, before every breath was a heavy mistake. Now the color of the sky is a bruise that won't heal, and I'm struggling to find something solid to feel. In these pale blue mornings, I'm losing my way, drifting through the static of a hollowed out day. The coffee is bitter and the kitchen is cold, and I'm feeling a century, feeling so old. I'm reaching for the warmth of a hand that is gone, wrapped in the shivers of a never-ending dawn. It's a washed out world and a heart-shaped warning, waking up alone in these pale blue mornings. The radio's playing a song from the spring, back when we didn't have to fix everything. I see your toothbrush sitting dry in the glass, watching the ghost of our happiness pass. I'm wearing your sweater to keep out the chill, but the center of my spirit is shivering still. I'm a prisoner of 7 a.m. and the light that tells me I didn't die in the night. I'm lying on the floorboards where the carpet's pulled away, watching how the ceiling turns a sickly shade of gray. I used to see a heaven in the plaster and the paint, back when we were holy, back when I was still a saint. But the house is shifting weight now, it's settling in the mud, and I can feel the shiver of the winter in my blood. I'm tracing out the spider webs that shouldn't be there yet, a map of every memory I'm trying to forget. Foundation is grounded, the drywall is thin. I'm letting the outside finally get in. I'm a tenant of a hollow, a prisoner of a why, underneath the reefer of a collapsing sky. And I'm just counting the cracks in the bedroom wall, waiting for the structure to finally fall. One for the sorry, one for the stay, one for the morning you just walked away. I'm following the lines where the light starts to bleed, picking at the fractures of a desperate need. It's a slow motion wreck, it's a soul crushing facts, spending my forever counting the cracks. The window frame is running right across the door. A physical reminder of the end of evermore. I try to fill the spaces with a putty and a lie, but the house knows the truth and the house starts to cry. I'm standing in the kitchen, but I forgot why I came. The refrigerator's humming, but it doesn't sound the same. I dropped a silver teaspoon on the linoleum floor, and it rang out like a gunshot, and a silence like a war. I'm waiting for your footsteps, for the jingle of your keys. But the only thing that's moving is a draft against my knees. The house is stretching out now, growing miles in every space, and I'm hunting for the phantom of a long forgotten face. I used to complain about the television's glare, or the way you'd hum a melody while you were fixing up your hair. But I give my soul for static, I trade my life for noise to drown out the ghost of all our broken hollow joys. And this is the sound of an empty room, a heavy kind of quiet, a velvet kind of gloom. It's the ringing in my screaming out your name, and the only thing that answers is a flickering blue flame. It's a physical vibration of the things that aren't there. dust is settling softly on the records that we play, like a blanket for the memories that are starting now to fade. I hear the house creaking like it's breathing in its sleep, counting all the secrets that it's finally had to keep. Every I love you is a frequency that's passed into a deep, dark ocean that was never meant to last. I'm talking to the plaster, I'm preaching to the paint, but the resonance is gone and my spirit's getting faint. I'm staring at the ceiling, but I'm pinned against the floor by the invisible weight of the earth that's no more. I try to lift my head, try to move toward the light, but the earth is pulling harder in the middle of the night. The pictures on the mantle are leaning toward the edge, like they're ready to jump from a cold wooden ledge. It's not just the sorrow, it's a physical force trying to drag my spirit back to the source. I could fly when you were in the room. Now I'm just a shadow in a velvet kind of gloom. The atmosphere is heavy, the oxygen is thin, and I'm losing the battle that I'm living in. It feels like gravity's good, a debt I've got to pay for every single second that I thought you'd stay. I'm sinking through the mattress, I'm falling through the bed, with a mountain in my heart and a stone in my head. The world wants me down, wants me broken and still Feels like walking through the sea with 100-pound anchor tied onto my knee. I dropped my coffee mug and I watched it hit the tile. It didn't just break, it shattered for a mile. Just like the plans that we whispered in the dark. Now they're just debris, without a single spark. The earth is a magnet, and I'm made of lead, replaying every single bitter word that you said. Sitting with a bottle and a ballpoint pen, going back to the night where it all began. I'm crossing out the shouting and the slamming of the door, making sure you never walk across the kitchen floor. I'm adding in a sunset and a long slow dance, giving every never just a second chance. But the ink is bleeding through to the other side, where the ghost of the truth is nowhere to hide. I'm a fiction writer in a house of stone, building a kingdom while I'm sitting alone. If I change the dialogue, if I change the scene, can I erase the space that's grown in between? And I'm rewriting the past with a shaky hand, drawing out forever in the shifting sand. I'm editing the coldness and the I don't care, replacing all the silence with a breath of air. But the pages are tearing and the story is wrong. I'm singing the words to a dead man's song. It's a beautiful lie that's never gonna last, just a desperate soul rewriting the past. Chapter 3, I didn't let you go to the coast. I kept you in the garden, the version I love most. I deleted the phone call, I deleted the rain. I scrubbed out the part where I caused you the pain. But the paper is wrinkled and the margins are tight, and I'm running out of ink in the middle of the night. I can't change the ending no matter how I try. I'm just coloring the clouds in a charcoal sky. I'm holding the edges of a memory so thin, I can see the daylight shining through your skin. We were painted in gold, we were glazed in the fire, the highest of hopes on a pedestal wire. But the shelf started shaking when the wind blew through, and I'm looking at the pieces of what used to be you. I try to fit the jagged curves back into place, I can't find the smile on a shattered face. It's a delicate beauty, it's a dangerous grace, a museum of sorry in a cold empty space. We handled the always with a fist made of stone, and now I'm just sweeping up the marrow and bone. We were living on porcelain promises, wide and refined, the kind of forever that's easily blind. One heavy heartbeat, one sudden sound, and the whole world is sparkling all over the ground. I'm bleeding from the palms, trying to make it home, but there's a hairline fracture deep in my soul. It's a beautiful wreckage, it's a fragile disguise, the porcelain promises reflecting your eyes. The tea is still sitting in the cup that you cracked, a physical record of the things that we lacked. I remember the kiln and the heat of the start, before the first pressure applied to the heart. Now I'm a curator of the could-have-beens and whys, staring at the dust under charcoal skies. I thought we were marble, I thought we were steel, but the gloss was the only thing that was real. I'm pressing my ear to the cold dry wall, listening for a ghost in the empty hall. The neighbors are laughing, the city is loud, but I'm just a shadow inside of a cloud. I put on your sweater to dampen the ache, trying to soften the way that I break. I'm moving in slow-mo, I'm walking through wool. My head is so empty, but the silence is full. The walls are too thick and the blankets are deep. I'm buried in secrets I promised to keep. I'm reaching for rhythm, I'm reaching for light, but everything's padded in the middle of the night. And I'm living on muffled heartbeats under the snow, a rhythmic reminder of a love let go. It's a dull kind of thumping, a distant I'm here, drowning in the cotton of a long lonely year. I'm screaming I'm measuring the air between the bookshelf and the bed, tracing out the outlines of the things we never said. The closet's got a canyon where your summer dresses hung, and the silence has settled on the songs we haven't sung. I bought a smaller rug just to cover up the floor, but I can't stop the draft that's coming underneath the door. It's a specific kind of hollow, localized chill that follows me around against my own broken will. I used to bump into your shoulder in the hall, and now there's nothing but the shadow on the drywall. I'm stretching out my arms just to find a boundary, but the horizon shifted inside this empty scenery, and I'm lost in the space you left behind, a vacuum of a memory that's making me blind. It's the shape of your body in the morning light, and the coldness of the pillow in the middle of the night. I'm trying to fill it up with noise and with ghosts, but the absence is the thing that hurts the most. It's a hole in the universe, a tear in the mind, living in the space you left behind. There's a ring on the nightstand from a glass of water, a ghostly little circle where the light starts to falter. I tried to put a chair there, I tried to put a plant, but I can't occupy the cans and the wants and the sheds. The house is growing larger while I'm getting small, pinned against the nothingness of it all. I'm a tenant of a crater, a king of the void, surveying the wreckage of a life we destroyed. I used to bump into your shoulder in the hall, now there's nothing but the shadow on the drywall. I'm stretching out my arms just to find a boundary, but the horizon shifted inside this empty scenery, and I'm lost in the space you left behind, the vacuum of a memory that's making me blind. It's the shape of your body in the morning light, and the coldness of the pillow in the middle of the night. I'm trying to fill it up with noise and with ghosts, but the absence is the thing that hurts the most. It's a hole in the universe, a tear in the mind, living in the space you left behind. Gold is all falling from the maple out back. The garden is skeletal, frozen in black. I'm watching the steam from my mouth hit the paint. A ghostly reminder of your whispered name. I haven't moved your boots from the rug by the door, but the mud on the leather don't mean much anymore. The light is retreating, the shadows alone, and the radio's humming a shivering song. I used to find warmth in the crook of your arm, a fire in the center to keep us from harm. But the thermostat's clicking, the pilot is dead, and I'm buried in blankets on your side of the bed. And I'm shivering under winter's first breath, watching the flowers face a beautiful death. It's the first morning frost on the glass of my heart, the final I'm sorry that tore us apart. The air is so sharp, it's a blade in my lung. The end of the carols that we haven't yet sung. It's a long, lonely season of white and of gray, and winter's first breath is stealing you away. The lake is a mirror that's starting to cloud. The silence of snowfall is heavy and loud. I found a stray knitting in the pocket of my coat, a little wool anchor that's keeping me afloat. But the wool is all frayed, and the color is thin, and I don't know where the getting over should begin. I'm tracing your initials in the rhyme on the glass, watching the ghost of our happiness pass. The digital clock is a neon scar against the darkness of where you are. The fan is spinning a lazy wheel, caught in the air that I can't quite feel. I'm tracing the shadows of the maple tree, like a Rorschach test of what's left of me. The sheets are desert, the pillows are stones, and the silence is rattling inside of my bones. I try to close my eyes to find a little peace, but the movie of us is on a constant lease. Replaying the kitchen, replaying the car, replaying the moment you became a star that fell. And I'm just staring at the ceiling again, counting the minutes of where and of when. It's a wide, wide ocean of plaster and paint, the prayer of a sinner, the ghost of a saint. I'm searching for answers in the cracks in the dust, buried in the wreckage of a broken down trust. Wide awake at 4 a.m., feeling the peeling of my own heart while staring at the ceiling. There's a glow-in-the-dark star left from years ago, a little plastic reminder of a dying glow. It's losing its light just like I'm losing mine, tangled in the wires of a jagged design. I reach for your phone on the nightstand wood, knowing I shouldn't but wishing I could. See a notification, a flicker, a sign that you're staring at your ceiling at the same damn time. I'm sitting in the driveway with the engine humming low. The GPS is asking me which way I wanna go, but every street we name together leads to a dead end, and the map is just a reminder of a lover and a friend. I typed in home, but the screen just stared back blank and blue. 'Cause home was never a coordinate, home was always you. Now the satellites are searching for a signal in the dark, while I'm sitting in the driveway waiting for a spark. The needle's spinning circles on the dashboard of my chest. I'm heading for the east when I should be heading west. The stars are all out of alignment, the moon is a ghost, and I'm drifting further from the thing I love the most. And I'm living on broken navigation, a traveler without a final destination. I'm taking every turn, but I'm only getting lost. Counting up the miles and the heavy, heavy cost. The voice in the speakers telling me to turn around, but I'm already buried 6 feet under the ground. It's a long, lonely highway, a jagged location, caught in the static of broken navigation. I remember the road trip when we didn't need a guide, just the wind in the windows and you by my side. Now the landmarks are different, the signs are all wrong, and the radio is stuck on a heartbreak song. I passed the diner where we had our first fight. It looked like a shipwreck in the middle of the night. I'm a pilot with no radar, a sailor with no sea, just a ghost in a metal box, trying to be free. I'm sitting at the table where the wood is wearing thin, trying to find the place where the sorry should begin. I've got a stack of paper, a mountain of white, and a head full of ghosts in the middle of the night. I press the tip down hard, I try to leave a mark, but I'm just scratching circles in the cold and the dark. The indentations show exactly what I meant, but the color of the feeling has already been spent. There's a ghost of a letter on the back of the page, a trapped little bird in a silver-lined cage. I'm shaking the barrel, I'm begging for a drop, but the flow of the earth had to finally stop. And I'm writing our story with inkless pens, tracing the always and the never agains. I'm moving my hand, but the page stays clear, just like the future that I started to fear. It's a hollowed out motion, a desperate design, trying to color in a jagged old line. I'm screaming in silence, I'm making amends with a heart full of lead and these inkless pens. You used to be the fountain, you used to be the flow, now I'm just a writer with nowhere to go. I remember the ink stains on your fingers and mine, back when the rhythm was perfectly fine. Now the reservoir is dry and the plastic is cold. The best of our chapters will never be told. I'm carving your name into the grain of the oak, with a dry wooden tip and a spirit that's broke. There's a ghost of a letter on the back of the page, a trapped little bird in a silver line cage. I'm shaking the barrel, I'm begging for a drop, but the flow of the S had to finally stop. And I'm writing our story with inkless pens, tracing the always and the never agains. I'm moving my hand, but the page stays clear, just like the future that I started to fear. Just like the future that I started to